New York and on the new Hot 97 app. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ebro in the morning. Laura Stiles, Rosenberg. Give it up for Maury Povich on the program today. Thank you for joining our show. We thought when you came in today that the Nicki Cardi thing was still going to be brewing, but
I know it.
It looks like they've buried the hatchet.
Well, yeah, but you don't believe it. As far as I'm concerned, that would be like Trump and Hillary making nice.
So you were ready. You had the team ready for the lie detector.
I had it, and I would have gone anywhere. First of all, we got the truth truck out in New York City today. You know what the truth truck is?
What is that?
Oh, well, everybody has food trucks around town. We have a truth truck. And
What
Ralph
happened to it?
Barbieri, our lie detector administrator, is there, and you can do lie detector tests on the spot anywhere in New York City.
Oh my goodness.
Yo, Nicki, man, you could have just pulled
Right,
up right to
exactly.
the truck. You and Cardi.
Right.
Wait,
been a
but
movie.
how accurate are these lie detector tests? And
They
how do
are
work?
accurate. See, I believe in them. And the experts have told me, first of all, when we do ours, we do it 3 times, not once. If it's inconclusive, we don't ask that question. But what we found is you can't, get into some emotional state and figure you can fake it, or you can't eat something or drink something or tap your toes 3 times and think you can fake it. I believe it. I mean, it's not admissible in court. I mean, it's like, look, did you believe Blasey Ford, Dr. Ford, when she came there and took a lie detector test? I believe it.
I absolutely did. I absolutely believe that woman. I don't believe that she... I mean, there's several reasons even before the lie detector test that I believed her, because she wrote her letter complaining about Supreme Court Justice, what's his name? Kavanaugh, when she saw him on the short list.
Right.
Long before he got the nomination.
And she didn't want to testify. She didn't want to come forward. She just wanted them to realize what had happened in her youth. That's all. And so I believe lie detector tests are on the up and up.
But you like them with other facts, though. You don't like them as a standalone thing.
Absolutely. So, but very upset about Nicki and Cardi. It's really.
Now, Maury, listen. You are.
First of all, I wanted Cardi on before because about the lie detector test with her significant other, because there was a problem.
Yes.
About 6 months ago.
So you're just really trying to find an angle here with Cardi in some way.
Anyway.
Right.
Now, Maury, let me ask you a serious question. You have been around and on television and journalism, like as a serious journalist, and your wife as well, right? So you guys have been in this business for some time. You decided with your show, just the popularity of your show, to continue doing the relationships and helping people navigate, having babies.
This is what I know. Okay, I justify, for instance, a paternity test on this fact. Everybody in the country knows a kid has a much better chance at life if you have 2 parents in their lives instead of 1. I mean, we know that. I mean, it's a fact. So if I can get these guys who deny their children into their child's life, that's fine. I also want to be there. So if the guy is accused wrongly of being the father, he should not have to put up with that. So, I mean, I justify the themes that we do. We do out-of-control kids who run the streets, trying to get pregnant at 13, 14, 15 years old. Yeah. And we know, teenage pregnancies, that's the kiss of death in terms of a successful life. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's what we do. Now, we push the envelope, and I've been having critics all my life. I mean, I'm sure you have.
Of course.
I've had them all my life.
You don't matter if you don't have critics.
Doesn't matter. I mean, I gave up a long time ago. And secondly, now with, social media, you can't do anything without getting dumped on.
Yeah, no, people out you often on social media. When did your passion for these youth issues become prominent for you?
It became prominent when I was doing the news. For instance, let's say I was anchoring a newscast or I was reporting, going out on a story and reporting. I open up a story, I'm reading 20 seconds and then throwing it to a minute and 25-second spot, and there's no story that can be told that quickly. You just can't. So I felt confined, I felt restricted, and so I feel I'm a storyteller at heart, and these stories that we do, they're expanded. We get the idea of what's going on in people's lives, and that's why I went this way.
Amazing. Do you now, when you look at the attacks on media, you somebody who's been in media your entire life, you see the current president's attacks. How does it make you feel as somebody who's been involved in media?
I'm sick about it because, first of all, the attacks are on very worthy organizations. Now, I'm not saying that people that news organizations, because of ratings, don't have agendas.
They sensationalize?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, look, I started in this business nationwide doing a show called A Current Affair. I know what stories worked and what stories didn't work. Yeah. And so if you had to be a little tabloidy, fine. But I think that the reporters on most of these networks, I mean, I'll tell you this. I mean, I can even tell you that Brett Baer on Fox News and Shepard on Fox News, I think they're legit. I mean, I think they play it down the middle. I think everybody else on that network has an agenda. I think people have an agenda on MSNBC, and yet there's some straight people on MSNBC. You got to pick and choose, I think. Same thing with CNN. But to say that the media is the enemy of the people,
how dangerous is that to
that
even say?
is so dangerous. That only totalitarian dictators use that phrase. And I know where it comes from. I mean, first of all, I think the worst thing that happened to Donald Trump was Steve Bannon. Because I think he had a whole agenda, and I think he sold it to Trump, and Trump bought it.
Well, it's not only Trump, but it's the people who support Trump, finance Trump. It's more than just Trump, right? Because people had to stand with him.
Hey, he had 60-some million votes.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Well, even the people who donated money.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's all I can tell you is that I firmly believe that what happened with the pipe bombs and what happened in Pittsburgh is a result of the political rhetoric that is out there today on all sides. 100%. All sides. And it's not going to end.
And do you blame the media?
No, I can't blame. I blame the media. I blame the media for the coverage, the amount of coverage.
Okay.
It's very interesting because recently, before these incidents, people had stopped covering the president's speeches live. Yeah. Even Fox had stopped covering it live. Because guess what? They weren't rating. They didn't have the ratings they did 6 months ago.
Well, he doesn't even say anything. He just gets up and does like a stand-up routine for 90 minutes.
For a long time, too.
It's the same stuff. Yeah. It's build the wall, lock her up, things like that.
It's like a high school pep rally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they want it. And his supporters want that.
Isn't it interesting, though, that he's so anti-media when really, if you were to be upset with the media...
he's pro-media.
Yeah, because...
he's really pro-media.
That's how he won. Honestly, all of us made that mistake in how much we covered it. All of us kind of...
Well, he was a celebrity. He's a rich celebrity, a celebrity that we've seen on TV for over 20 years.
And what was ironic about it, that in the beginning, all he would have to do is sit in his office and do all these interviews on the phone. He wouldn't even have to show up. Right. He was doing all that, and everybody was putting him on because guess what? He was good copy.
Yeah.
And that's...
Are we as a country, right? Like I hear you say, we covered it. We gave this guy a platform, right? Mm-hmm. But because of what we do for a living, because of what you do for a living, all of us, we have to get ratings. We got to get tune in.
Absolutely.
So what's happening to our nation right now is indicative of basically who we are as a country.
Yeah, if I had to criticize the media more than anything else, especially the news media, it's about ratings. In the old days, they didn't care. News organizations at networks were a loser, and they accepted it.
Because they were doing a job.
They were doing a job. Most networks made their money on their entertainment. They didn't make money on news. But now, because of the cable channels, when they became popular, that was a moneymaker. Mm. And CNN was a big moneymaker, and then Fox was a big moneymaker. The Fox News organization makes more money than anything else in Fox.
Wow.
More than their entertainment division, far more.
That's wild.
And I guess the corporatization of the news
Exactly.
is really what we're talking
Exactly. It was, newspapers like to think that they separate what they consider editorials, opinion, from news, all right? In the old days, television companies separated news from entertainment. And now there is no line. There is no line. You have to be entertaining in the news division in order to get a rating.
Right. And so we get what we deserve.
I guess.
With this, right?
I guess,
I mean,
yeah. I mean, the ultimate arbiter in television and radio is the viewer and the listener. They decide, don't they?
Yeah.
Don't they
If
decide
turn
every
it
day
off,
about
it
you?
doesn't, yeah.
They decide every day about me.
That's it.
I know that if I put on a paternity show, I'm going to get a bigger rating than I do if I do a makeover show.
Mm-hmm.
And
if
you
you're
know,
trying to solve a domestic situation or something very serious,
exactly,
you know what the rating is for that.
Exactly. I mean, I do shows, and I do these shows because I believe in these shows about out of control men, who abuse their women, who abuse their significant others, and sometimes physically, definitely mentally.
Yeah.
That show doesn't do as good a rating as a lie detector test, but I don't care. I'll do it. I'll do it.
And you can take that risk.
I'll
because you've been.
But guess what? Can't take it 5 days a week.
Well, look, even here, this our morning show that we've been doing now and had success, 4 or 5 years now?
Yeah,
4 years of this version of a morning show on this radio station. Early on, we started doing things that were seen as risky because we were covering politics, we were covering race, we were covering, I talk about the economics, I talk about jobs of the future for the youth, and we weave in funny and other things in it. But I remember Rosenberg used to look at me like, yo, you're out of your marbles, bro. Like, you're out of your marbles.
Why? Because you didn't think it was going to rate.
Right. Well, we didn't think it was going to rate, but we also didn't know the country during Obama's close was going to become so crazy with the Trump rhetoric and the violence and the school shootings where being informed, talking about, quote unquote, being woke and aware of what's going on in society with your health and these things was actually going to become cool.
Right.
It's become cool since Black Lives Matter and protesting. It's become cool to be informed.
Right.
We didn't know that was going to happen, but that's what our passion point was.
Right. And we even took risk with guests. Like, we know a lot of people, like, we have community leaders that are doing amazing things in our neighborhoods. We know they're not going to get as many views as the hottest rapper, right? But we tend to balance it. But we do it because we care about it.
And that's what. And guess what? That makes you all. I mean, keeps your sanity. I mean,
yes.
It's.
Well, we're appreciated by the community. We're appreciated by people who know the difference for sure.
My father was the sports columnist of the Washington Post for 75 years, and they have a sports journalism center at the University of Maryland named after him. It's called the Shirley Povich Center. And next week, I think it's the 13th. It's a week after the election. We do a symposium every single year, and this year it is race in sports. Is it still this bad?
Yeah.
And we've got DeMaurice Smith, who's the head of the NFL Players Association. We have the guy who runs the Undefeated. And we've got various other great writers on this panel. And to do this on a campus, you open up a lot of sores, but you got to do it. I mean, you know darn well racism is alive and well in sports. And so, and you have to tackle that. I mean, and so we're going to do that. And the point is, everybody has a conscience, And congratulations to you. I mean, you have a very, very successful show, and if you can weave in these important themes, good on you.
Yeah, it's solid.
Maury, do you when you look at where news and journalism is going, right? And a young person comes up to you and they say, "I want to be a journalist."
Oh boy,
or, "I want to be."
Yeah.
What advice do you give them?
Well, first of all, I say, you've got to. There are basic tenets that you have to understand about being a journalist. First of all, what are you trying to do? You observe a scene. You collect facts. You balance those facts with opinions on all sides. You have to be fair. You have to be honest. And you have to answer all the W's. What, when, why, where. That's what you have to do. That's your job as a journalist. You want to be something else. You want to be an advocate. You want to be a contributor. You want to be an opinion maker. That's different. But if you want to be a journalist, you've got to really keep it real.
And do you think journalism is a viable path for people?
I think it's a viable path, but it's not like the old days. I mean,
it's not. You're not doing journalism for the money.
No, that's it. I mean, it's not going to. It's not going to be. It's not going to look like Ron Burgundy, the anchorman. Yeah. You're not going to rely on makeup and hair and stuff like that, right, because you're going to be doing it all digitally. It's all going to be on probably end up social media, and that's why, that's going to be very interesting, because can you, in a different world, hold to those journalistic tenets that you need to be fair and objective? I don't know.
What's the most painful, and we'll do both sides, what's the most painful episode of television you've ever had to be a part of?
Well, controlling men, I've done that. I've brought on women who were like set on fire by their significant others, and I bring them on to confront men who control their women, and to hear their stories, and the fact that those stories are so similar to the guests that I have on, and the ingredients of their stories is the same ingredients that this poor woman had to endure before she was lit on fire. That's probably the most painful. And the most frustrating are the young teenagers who are running the streets, having sex, doing drugs, and thinking that at 14 years old, they want unconditional love with a baby. And that, to me, is the biggest challenge we have.
And what's the happiest?
I used to, we don't do many of them anymore, but the most fun I've ever had on the show is these phobia shows I used to do.
Oh, my God.
Where these women would these men and women would come on, and they were scared of the craziest things. I had a pickle lady.
You're scared. This guy's scared of.
What are you scared
multiple circles? What is it? Spores?
I think it's called propophobia.
What is it? What are you afraid of, for instance?
It's like a fear of holes.
Holes.
Like circles, bumps, holes.
So, like, if you saw, how, like, when men get the...
Oh, up to on your head?
What's it called?
Hair plugs?
The hair plugs, and it's all in a row?
Right.
They get grossed out by it.
It's weird.
Yeah, certain ones, like something that looks porous. We looked it up, and it has to do something our bodies reacting to stuff that could be poisonous. That's what I found on the internet. But something about it just creeps us out. It makes us weak in our hands. It's just, ugh.
I've had people who were afraid of pickles, cotton balls. Cotton balls.
That's ridiculous.
Clowns.
Clowns, yeah.
Balloons.
That's stupid.
Spiders.
It's the popping of the balloons, right?
He's very arachnophobic.
Huh?
If it's a huge spider, then yeah, I'm not.
Spiders, yeah. Well, I can understand that.
Yeah,
I mean, I understand you. I don't like snakes. Okay, I can understand that, but
But you're
balls.
also claustrophobic.
Very. Yeah. I cannot, like, I have had...
What is a small space to you?
Anything where I don't like... I'm getting better with elevators.
You don't like elevators?
No. Especially when they're crowded, I just get really, like, antsy. But anything tight, like a closet or...
How about an airplane?
I'm okay in an airplane. But I don't like the airplane bathrooms. They're too tight for me. It's too tight for me, yeah. But I'm in and out. I control it, but...
Right.
Like,
no Mile High Club stuff or anything like that.
I'm okay. Like our friend Cass One, our DJ here, him and his wife went to Vietnam, and he showed me a picture of his wife. They were at some grounds where the soldiers used to hide underground.
Right.
So it was a hole, and it was like a fake little grass patch.
Right. You wouldn't nothing.
I couldn't. I watched the video.
I bet you couldn't be in a foxhole.
No. What? Are you kidding me? I had goosebumps just watching the videos. Like I couldn't even watch it. because it was so tight. Yeah, I get very creeped out.
I know a guy. There's a show called Pardon the Interruption.
I love that.
You know that with Wilbon and Kornheiser,
Yes.
and they're friends of mine. They used to work with my father years ago. Kornheiser will not fly on a plane,
Really?
and when he's forced to fly on a plane, he calls up like United Airlines and says, "Send me your chief pilot," and the chief pilot has to sit next to him on the airplane.
Yo, Kornheiser's out of your, out of your
Well,
marbles.
a lot of celebrities were like, remember Fat Joe wouldn't
Fat
fly
Joe,
for a long
Khaled,
time.
Flex.
Yeah.
They wouldn't fly either.
How do they get around?
Well, they fly. I think they fly now. They've kind of conquered it, dealt with it.
But for a long time, it was just tour buses.
The amount of money they were missing by not flying, that'll help you get over some phobias real quick.
And the famous football announcer John Madden wouldn't fly.
Yep.
Yeah, he was
At all.
famous for that.
Not only would he not fly, he used to work for CBS. Now, CBS had this big building called Black Rock on 6th Avenue, I think. And he had to have all of his meetings in the lobby because he wouldn't go up an elevator. And in the building, he live in the same building we did. His apartment was on the first floor. I mean, he was really phobic.
Where was the building?
Oh, how'd you know that?
Dakota?
When I was here in 8th grade, we did a bus tour. They're like, John Madden lives
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yo, how do you even? You got to be somebody special for a company to want to employ you with all of that.
He had a bus
Yeah,
out in
he had a
front.
bus.
He had a bus ran all. I mean, if he was doing a game in New York on a Sunday, and the next Sunday he had to be in Seattle, he'd take the bus.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
John Madden was always on. Maury Povich has a truth truck, not a bus. It's a truth truck. Where is it today?
Washington Square Park,
Oh, right here by NYU.
right there.
Oh, man.
By
there's
the
a
way,
lot of,
people
a
can
lot
just
of
walk up?
debauchery took place over there, so people need to figure it out.
Last week we had it in D.C. You know, there was some big H Street festival. I'm from D.C., so they had it there. But I said, okay, guys, but I want you to go across the street from the White House and park that truck as a symbolic gesture.
There you go. Let him see it.
Maury, before we let you go, how much more Maury? I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. When
What
does
season
Maury
is
say
this?
How
enough
long?
is enough?
I'll put it to you this way. How long are your contracts?
Mine's
2
up right
years,
now.
3 years?
Yeah, 2 or 3 years.
2 or 3
Yeah,
years at a
yeah.
time, all right? So I got a 2-year deal. My last one was 2 years, and it's up a year from now, 18 months from now. And now, hey, I'm going to do it as long as it's viable, as long as NBC owns me, as long as they want me. I thought I'd be off air 20 years ago. I mean, 15
So
years ago.
it's all the house's money now. You're just riding out.
How'd you know that?
Yeah, 'cause I'm the same. I didn't expect to come this far.
I worked to give it away.
Yeah, it's all the house's money now. It's like, I mean, y'all want to pay me? All right, I'll come back. I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
It's great retirement.
It is. It is. Well, yeah. And you probably already retired. You probably, knowing you, there's probably already a retirement plan that kicked in at your own personal, and now
yeah.
you're just living life.
But I'm telling you, this is what I feel, all right? I have I don't understand why people give their money away after they go. I want to give it away when I'm alive so I can see the results. So, I mean, I don't get that my estate planning is that, okay, I made this money and you can have it after I die. Oh, come on. I want to be there. I want to see these kids go to school, grow up, and go to college.
So let's start doing those episodes. Maury's Money.
I like it.
And it's like, maybe it's once a month. And we
Maury's
evaluate.
Money, right.
It's Maury's Money. We
Yeah.
can have small business owners who need some
Right,
support.
right.
We can have people who want to go to college, right? Because colleges are
I'll tell you what I
obviously
did the other
taking advantage
day.
of
I tell you what I did the other day. I don't do it that often, but I did it. So we had this out-of-control teenager, all right? She's running the streets. She's getting into fights. And yet at the same time, she's getting A's in school, which is really strange for somebody like that because most of the kids are they're expelled from school. And they were living in a shelter. And I said, let's get them out of the shelter, get them a place to live.
Because that's why she's fighting.
That's right. And we got them out of the
embarrassed,
shelter. We
she's
gave
angry.
gave her mother money to get a place and get furniture and make sure that this kid has a good chance.
Maury's Money, man.
That's not bad.
Not bad.
like 10% for me whenever we discuss that behind the scenes.
I'm used to giving it away.
You guys, Maury Povich,
Thank
give it
you,
up. Thank you for coming by the show. Look for
Appreciate
the
it.
Truth Truck at Washington Square Park.